Alright YouTube, good Saturday morning. For this vlog, I'll be talking about Marvel characters, but not this Marvel character of Moon Knight, although he may come up in this vlog, but rather about Spider-Man, particularly the confirmation that Marvel now has access to a lot of the Sony characters and is planning to use Venom in, I think, Spider-Man 5, which is after Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I'm super excited for more than ever as the days come on, because admittedly I hadn't been following too much of it, but the more I sort of follow a little more of it, the more excited I get. And I've always said this from like day one pretty much, that I was hoping that Tom Holland Spider-Man would get at least 2 trilogies, and looks like that's happening, and we may even get Spider-Man 7, 8, 9, fingers crossed. But personally I'd be satisfied even if we just got up to 6, but I'll be talking about some ideas I have for future Spider-Man movies, so let's dive in. So first and foremost, it may be cool to see him with the Avengers, not necessarily Hawkeye, but rather the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts. I drew this based on the Volume 2 comic that I got for Christmas that I'm going to read soon, but absolutely love how this drawing came out. So these characters I'm kind of unfamiliar with, or obviously I'm familiar with Winter Soldier, who is going to be Two-Face in the Batman, but I don't want to go on a sidetrack, so let's stick to Spider-Man. I do want to see him interact with the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, as well as potentially the new Thunderbolts. In addition to Spider-Man 5, I also hope we get Deadpool 4, because I absolutely love this team-up lineup, even though it's probably not going to happen again, of X-23, Blade, Wolverine, Deadpool, Gambit, and Elektra. So really like how this drawing came out as well. I would love to see maybe the gang get back together for a threat to team up with Spider-Man. Of course, the Spider-Man 2 trilogies would not be complete without Spider-Man interacting with Deadpool at least once, although we'll probably get that in the new Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, but we got to see it in Spider-Man exclusive, in my opinion. And also, I think we should get in Venom. I think, someone around Tom Holland's age, but I think that, whoever they go with will probably be a cool pick. But I do think, even though I love Tom Hardy and his Venom was pretty cool, that they should maybe go with a new face. And a popular fan cast I've seen on forums has been Jacob from Frankenstein, who was definitely a terrific creature animal in Frankenstein, and not too familiar with his work, but he does give me Venom vibes. Going back to what I was saying at the start of this vlog, it could be cool to see him interact with Moon Knight, as well as plenty of the other heroes like the X-Men, who I did not draw, but I think Moon Knight, we got to see again too. But another thing I want to see a little more of in the Spider-Man movie, which I'm sure we'll get in Brand New Day, is a sort of long sequence of him swinging through New York City, because although we have seen cool scenes like that, I think, sort of something with today's budgets and movies could be even cooler. And I definitely want to see Tom Spider-Man interact with the Fantastic Four, especially Johnny. And of course, I'm sure they'll go with the plot line, and this is Thunderbolt, so irrelevant to what I was going to say, but the plot line of him sort of passing on the Spider-Man torch to Miles Morales, who I'm sure we'll see sooner than later in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as, Peter balancing his life as a husband and father, which is definitely a cool attribute. And I think we could also see him in, his sort of older life, because, I think Tom Holland's like pushing 30, and in a few years he'll be in his mid-30s, basic math. So I think a mid-30s Spider-Man would be really cool, because we haven't really seen that. Although Tobey Maguire was in his 30s in Spider-Man 3, I feel like, him being like aged down sort of took out the aspect that maybe could have been even cooler. But I also think we should definitely see a Black Cat fan cast, or Black Cat on the big screen, because I really like her. And last but not least, one thing I do want to see in the next Spider-Man trilogy is a return. This is Wolverine, but what I'm going to say is Tobey Maguire Spider-Man interact with Wolverine. So yeah, let me put this camera down because it's getting shaky. And overall, I'm really excited for the future of Spider-Man. Until then, thanks for watching. Stay tuned more soon. Bye.